What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814 ADC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the Ketuo Knives Triad V3. Now, the V3 is in via the Lefty passaround group, and it is part of the package put together by Kev, including the Triad V3 and the PSYOP 299 from Vosteed. So if you guys are interested in this review, this will be tomorrow's video, so definitely come back for that one. But like I said, today we're talking about the Triad V3. And I want to say that this is probably the third or fourth knife I've checked out from Ketuo. And I think that this one is my favorite. I wasn't like overly hyped or excited about it when it was coming in, because if I'm being honest, I was more interested in checking out the PSYOP 299. But honestly, this one was a really pleasant surprise for me. I really enjoyed it. It's a fidgeter's dream. As you guys can see, you have a back flipper, you have a front flipper, you have dual thumb studs, and you have a fuller as well as a button lock. So this thing is just super fun to fidget with. So many different ways to open the knife. And it's a really, really nice knife. Fit and finish is great. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. So before we get into the review, I will leave a link to Ketuo's website down below, where both this version as well as the just standard normal carbon fiber version are available, and they are currently in stock. So definitely go, check them out if you guys are interested. But jumping right into it, you guys can see here this body, these scales are a shred or a marbled carbon fiber infused with blue. They look fantastic. I really like how they kind of shine with the light. Obviously you have it's a button lock, but then you also have a liner lock. So it's technically like a top liner lock, which is really cool. So you can close it this way, or you can close it with the liner lock. So you have two different but technically two different locking mechanisms. You have a really cool backspacer that goes, almost probably like 70% of the way back. You have a built-in lanyard hole back here. You do have a reversible milled titanium pocket clip that is nice. You have a nice little cutout there for it. Over here, you do have a lock that is a new feature of the V3 versus the first two variations of this knife. So you can lock it. Can't lock it when it's closed, but you can lock it when it's open, and then you can't close the knife. Not sure how much I would ever use that feature, but it's there. And then of course, like I said, you have a plethora of opening options. You have the hole, thumb studs, front flipper, back flipper, and of course you can use the button there. This is a beautiful Tonto harpoon style blade. You have a hollow ground down here with a flat grind up on the sort of the chisel tip. This is an M390. You guys can see right there, Triad M390. Just a really nice looking blade. And I'm not even really that big of a Tanto blade, but I think just the combination of like the Tanto with the harpoon just looks fantastic. You have a little bit of internal milling for weight reduction. And yeah, that's all for materials. So let me give you guys, start off with some size comparisons. So here are two very popular knives that I like to use. You got the TRM Neutron 2 and the Spyderco Para 3. You can see this, the Triad V3, a little bit bigger than both of those, but honestly very, very, similar in size. I would say that this is, these are on the smaller side of the medium-sized knives, and I would say this is about a normal medium-sized knife. So get those out of the way, and I'll give you guys some specs here. So overall length from tip to butt, we have 7.61 inches. We have a blade length of 3.2, but a cutting edge length of 2.93, of course, because you have that choil taking some away. Blade thickness is 0.12. So technically they are calling this a harpoon clip point Tonto. So I guess I see a little bit of the clip, but a very cool blade nonetheless. Handle length or overall length, handle length or close length of 4.41. And then we have a weight of 3.2 ounces. So very nice and lightweight. This feels really good in hand, very good in pocket. And the designer is FD Designer. Not familiar with them at all. They might be an in-house designer for Ketuo. But yeah, like I said, there's this variation as well as just the normal shred or marbled carbon fiber. Then here on the website, it says the Triad returns sharper, tighter, and more dialed in than ever. The V3 version builds on the original's foundation with an upgraded tolerances, a crisper lockup feel, and a newly integrated safety lock switch. So nothing crazy has changed except for the switch, and then just some internal, fit and feel, fit and finish type of stuff. So, but next we're going to talk about action. The action on here is great. Really, really nicely dialed. Thumb flick is fantastic. I prefer to use the thumb studs for the thumb flick just because it's easier to, rather than you just kind of drop to here and find the stud and fire it out rather than dropping like down in and having to use the palm of your thumb. But I mean, the holes do work. Reverse flick, the hole works a little bit easier because it's just more intuitive to drop down. But the D10 is crispy, very, very snappy. And like I said, this thing is just a fidgeter's dream. No blade play, so it's locked up real nice and tight, and which is great when you're getting, this sort of action on the close and on the deployment. But I mean, let's just walk through right here. We got technically we're going to count all the ways to open this knife. So you can use the button. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 ways of deploying that knife. That's crazy. And they all work really well. It's nice when the detent is dialed for multiple, deployment methods as opposed to how they, knives that used to come with a back flipper, a front flipper, and studs. You never knew which one was the detent was going to be more tuned for. But the way technology has gotten and people have been able to dial in, their detents a lot more. I mean, every one is just fun. Like the front flipper works great. Just land right up top here. You got jimping the whole way up, which is awesome. Just land right on the corner here. Pops right out. The back flipper works great. You have some jimping on it as well. It's kind of a, you get a little bit of a pocket there for your finger to land on, and it fires out great. And of course, with that button, you get free drop. And then with the liner lock, drops to your thumb. One shake, drops to your thumb. Some micro shakes. Just very, very smooth. And honestly, like I said, this was, it's not that I wasn't like intrigued to check this knife out. There was just other stuff coming in that I was more excited for, but very similar to the Takray Tyron that I just did my full review of. How I said it was, not that I wasn't excited for it. It was just one of those knives that kind of, went to the top of all the knives I have in right now. And this one is up there too. Like it's really cool. You can obviously utilize the lock there. Again, not something I'm going to be using. I mean, I guess if you're going to be hard using this knife for a while and you want it to stay open and you don't want the risk of pushing the button to close it, I mean, it's there for you. But the one complaint I have with this knife is the lock. It rattles a little bit. It rattles a little bit, and to me that takes away a smidge from like how premium this knife feels, because I mean it's carbon fiber, it's M390, it's all these opening mechanisms, it's titanium, all the stuff you want in a knife. To me it kind of sucks that they that has to, which I know that's typical when you have safety locks. It kind of is a little bit loose in there, and it's not the tightest fit and finish, but it is what it is. That's just a very small nitpick for me. But as far as action goes, fantastic action from the Triad V3. Really, really enjoyed it. And again, if you are a person who loves to fidget with their knives, then this thing is just, I mean, 7 deployment methods and 2 ways of closing the knife just leads to hours of fidgeting fun when it comes to, knives. So action is great. Really, really enjoyed it. Next up is the Ergos. Now, like I said earlier, this is a medium-sized knife. I can get all 4 fingers on here nice and easily. You get obviously that nice natural restriction point there with the flipper tab. You have a little bit of a groove here. Not an overly crazy design. I mean, pretty simple, pretty, very nice, aesthetically pleasing handle. You have no sharp edges. It's all nicely contoured in all the right areas. The pocket clip is nice and flat, no sharp edges. It's all rounded off very nicely, which is great. And it just is a very comfortable knife to hold. You know, in the choked back, you can your thumb has plenty of jimping to land on. It's pretty microscopic jimping, but I mean, it's still it's it's jimping enough to, you know, still know it's there and be able to be a little bit useful. You know, if you have big hands, you can land all the way out here, kind of onto the harpoon, the clip point area, which is comfortable if you're going to be doing push cuts. Obviously, that nice hollow ground blade is just going to be eating through material. And then if you want to choke up, you can use the choil here. Your thumb can land, I mean, from here, like all the way out. You can even put it even further past the poon or clip point area for extra cuts. But to me, this is, you know, this is really comfortable, and then this is really comfortable as well. So the shred carbon fiber is really nice. Again, there's no sharp edges, nothing like that. You know, it's a nice knife to hold. It really is. It's very comfortable, very good design, very usable. And overall, I was very happy with how the Triad V3 felt in hand. So next up is carry. Let me get my Hank here. So of course, this is a mode clip, not a deep carry clip. So you're gonna have about that much sticking up out of your pocket. Not the end of the world. Would I have loved to see maybe one of those screws taken away? Yes. You guys know I'm kind of nitpicky when it comes to the two screws stacked on top of each other. I like when they're side by side, or if you just go with a single screw method. I know that it's a lot more secure to have, you know, two screws in there, but I would love to have, you know, if you're able to do that. Let me fold this up here so I can use it. If you were to take one screw away, then it would go from here to that. I mean, I know it's not that much in your pocket, but it is a little bit. So, but regardless, the clip works well. It functions well. The knife carries well. It's a little over 3 ounces, so it's not, you know, not anything crazy heavy. It's pretty lightweight considering, you know, all these, or most of the scale here is carbon fiber. Of course, you have the liners in there, but carbon fiber makes up quite a bit of, you know, the weight here, or the lack thereof, I guess. But it sits down in your pocket really nicely. You do have this backspacer with like some jimping on it, but it doesn't really, I mean, your finger's just going to bounce right off of it. And you do have a flipper tab down here. So if you are down here getting change, chapstick, things like that in your pocket, there is a small risk of you maybe catching this and pulling it up out. But I have never had that issue with this knife. Now, granted, take it with a grain of salt. I did not carry this in jeans because we did not have, you know, cold enough weather to wear jeans yet. So this was a gym shorts and bird dog and khaki short knife. But in all those instances, it was great. Again, very lightweight for the size. Just a really classy knife to carry. Yeah, I had no issues whatsoever with the carry on this knife, and it's really nice that they included, you know, the reversible functionality for lefties out there. And again, the, you know, filler plate, filler tab, whatever you want to call it, is nicely put there as well. So, but I guess that leads me to my final category of price point / you know, would I recommend this knife? As far as recommending this knife, like I said, I think that this is, as far as I can look back, this is my favorite Ketuo so far. The Triad V3 goes for, this specific version goes for $225, and the plain Jane carbon fiber version goes for $215. I think $225 is a great price. You know, I think it's maybe even a little bit of a value just based on the materials you're getting. So obviously the beautiful carbon fiber, you get a really nice, you know, very interesting compound ground M390 blade. And then of course you're getting the plethora of opening methods, 7 to be exact, 2 closing methods. And it's just really cool to see that in a knife like this. Ergos are great, carryability is great, great cutting blade. So I think that this is a knife packed with features. And again, like I said a little bit ago, this is a classy knife, but I think it can also handle itself in a you know, a day-to-day operations of use of you know, EDC tasks. But I just think it's really cool. And again, it was a very pleasant surprise to check this knife out, and I really like it. So hopefully, you know, Ketuo keeps putting out bangers in the future. And I would maybe even, honestly, it's been a while since I've they're a knife brand that I know about, and like I know some of their models, but they're not a knife brand that I like actively watch and check out, very often. So sometimes I'll have to, check out some of maybe their catalog, because they obviously, Ketuo and Reich are put together, and I've checked out, I think, 1 or 2 Reich knives. But like I said, I stand by the fact that this is my favorite Ketuo knife so far. Really, really good. Very, very much enjoyed it. And yeah, guys, so this was my full review of the Ketuo Knives Triad V3. Please leave a comment down below if you guys have this knife in your collection. And if you do you love it? Do you hate it? As always, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. But I'm going to wrap this up now. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, night, day, whenever you're watching this. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.